Welcome to Based Archive, where we archive based content for the future and good of all mankind. Today, we have Andrew Wilson showing these feminists just how hypocritical they are. If you like content like this, remember to like and subscribe to the video. Now let's get into this.
Are there any areas in your relationship where you do take your wife's advice? Because, for example, with my husband,
take her advice all the time.
Okay, I just wanted, I mean, there are some
It goes like
areas.
this. I'm like, honey, I'm about to troll these stupid ass feminists. What do you think of this tweet?
I have a question for you.
happens every day.
What do you think like women's strengths are like compared to men?
Their strengths?
Yeah.
Well, in which way?
In every way. Because I feel like a lot of the time, like
They
when
can have kids.
that's
Are you
not
serious?
necessarily.
Well, I was going to say also earlier.
Yeah, I don't. Well, listen, I'm going to be totally honest with you, and we can
Like, why are you with your
and by the
wife, for
way,
example?
we can debate this right now, and I'm going to enjoy it. So, here's my position: women can have children, men can't. Women are literally better at men than at nothing. Better than men, literally at nothing on planet Earth. However, men have women completely and totally beaten when it comes to force and the application of force.
Did you know that Einstein stopped making discoveries when he left his lady?
Do you know that Einstein was fucking like he was fucking a cousin or some like a first cousin or
Probably.
something like this? I'm not kidding.
Wait, Einstein
Yeah.
stopped? No, but what was the claim?
He stopped making discoveries when he left his girlfriend or wife, or she left him.
It's actually debated that
Can we-
they were all hers,
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
but women are also more nurturing and they're better
Yeah.
cared. So
Wait, when did Einstein meet his wife?
I don't know.
No. See,
Before his discoveries.
I used to
It's
think all
verifiable
of this
fact.
shit. I used to think just like you did, right? Well, surely women are more nurturing. And nope. The thing is that externally, the presentation that women are more nurturing, socially, this is much more acceptable that they present themselves as being more nurturing. That doesn't actually mean that they are. It just means that socially they present themselves as being so. I've never been convinced that women are more nurturing than men, ever. I think that they perhaps do it in a different way than men do, but I don't
Can
think
men
that,
breastfeed?
Well, how do you think men are
hang on.
nurturing?
So I already conceded,
Whoa.
right? So two things. One, yes, men can lactate, just so you know. But two, right, you probably didn't know that, but yes, they can. That's the grossest shit ever, but yes.
But it has no sustenance.
Two,
Yeah.
to this point, I already conceded reproduction as being the only thing a woman can do that a man can't.
But you came from us, so how would
What does
you
that
guys
have to
be
do with
here
anything?
Without our reproduction?
I also came from the reproductive genetic material of my father. Or did you think that women unilaterally got pregnant? Do you think that they unilaterally get pregnant just on their own? They're asexual, snap their fingers and become pregnant, or does it require male genetic material?
Well, why do you disagree that women are more inherently nurturing?
Because when I look at the stats, rates of children and things like this, I used to think all sorts of things. I used to think that men were far more likely to SA than women. It's not true. I used to think that...
Wait, what? Okay, what exact stat is that?
Yeah, well, actually, I can pull them all up. but-
I'd like to see it.
But
yeah,
if women are at
hang on 1 second, okay? This is going to come as a shocking stunner to you, but I'll actually logically demonstrate it. And then what I'm going to do when I'm out having a smoke, I will literally text these to Brian. He can pull them all up on screen so that you can see all of the studies. Have them all prepared for this, just for this conversation, in case the day came where it came up. And today is that day.
Wait,
Now,
but
He's
like
been
what
waiting
kind
for
of
it.
essay? I'm asking. Is it like in general, or is it like a specific kind?
It's even essay. Yeah, isn't that amazing? So the thing is here's why this occurs. It's because of reporting. So I did not know this, but there's a reclassification for penetrative essay. So if men are not penetrated, it's not counted as essay. And that's insane. That's absolutely fucking insane. So it's just, they just completely don't count it. I couldn't believe it.
So how did they
I was
gather the
shocked.
data then?
Well, by self-reporting, same way they do with women. And so when they did all these studies with self-reports in colleges all over the place, they found out that men were reporting that they were essayed by women far more than women were reporting they were essayed by men.
What?
It's just that,
What was the
it's
study
just that
done
they
by?
didn't go and make, well, again, I'll pull them all up. I don't remember all of the authors off the top of my head. But yes, this was done and repeated multiple times. So no, I don't believe in this myth. I've never believed in the myth. And here, I can even logically show you. Do you agree with me that things that women consider to be SA are usually overlooked with men? An example of this. If you're at a party and I walked over to, at my age, an 18-year-old girl who was randomly on a couch and started rubbing her shoulders, you would be a fucking creep and essaying the girl, right?
Yeah.
Now take 40-year-old hot mom, comes over to 18-year-old boy on the couch, rubs his shoulders. Probably not a big deal.
I think there's
hang on.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you concede that that's probably not a big deal?
Yeah, I don't
So
think
why
it's
is
a
one
big
SA
deal.
and one isn't?
No,
It's
I-
because of how it's reported.
No, I don't think that this kind of thing is a big deal. I think it's a difference in like when a man essays a woman, like, and I'm not, and like this is like in a vacuum necessarily. So like usually when we're talking about essay, like a man essaying a woman is like a lot more serious. Like,
Why?
well, I'm not talking about, it's hard to say that, like not a man essaying a woman is not more serious, but like, yeah.
So imagine if I was making this claim the other way.
No, I'm not saying.
Just envision
Well,
if I was
yeah,
making the claim the
yeah,
other way.
I would say that's
when
what-
a man essays a woman, that's not a big deal, right? Can
no,
you even
I'm just
imagine that?
no,
that
I'm just
happening?
talking about like women fear. Do you fear women?
Yes.
Whoa, wait. Can
Well,
you just
because-
repeat? Hold on. Repeat your claim.
No.
You said it was. I don't want to misquote you, but you said something along the lines of, "It's not as big of a deal."
No, that's not what I meant.
Okay. Well, what
really.
did you say? Just repeat what you said.
Okay, so can I rephrase it though?
Repeat what you said, then you can rephrase.
Okay,
it.
so I said it's when we're talking about essay, like a lot of the time it is not as like serious when we're talking about like, you know, like
When
like
women
in general.
do it.
Yeah.
Are you talking
Yeah.
about the method of abuse, like physically?
Well, not method. Yeah, that
Wait, does
has
this
to do
apply
with
to
it.
other forms of assault or violence?
Because
Well,
So
I
when
mean,
a-
it kind of goes into it because like you can physically abuse
so any
while
crime
you're
that
sexually.
occurs to a woman is more serious.
It's not
if it
more
occurs-
serious, but it usually impacts more harm. Yeah.
Okay,
by
so
a man,
Here, let me
yeah.
ask you this. So, if a woman if a woman is a victim of a crime, she is impacted more severely than a man.
Usually, yes, because men are biologically stronger.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Oh,
So-
sorry, okay, so if the chick is really buff,
Well, yeah, if
that's
a
an
girl is
outlier.
really buff and she beats her boyfriend's ass, then yeah, that's an
no,
anomaly.
So
like
a woman,
I
a
would
woman's
assure
really
you would
buff
agree.
and she gets
Wait,
beat up.
let me ask you this. So
That's going to be less impactful than if she was weak.
So if a man gets shot in the head and a woman gets shot in the head, is there a differential on the impact?
No, because they're not using force; they're using a gun.
That's
That
But
worse.
there is
That is
a
force.
differential if a woman gets punched in the
100%
face
force.
versus a man because women have less dense skulls. So
Right,
they're-
but both men and women have the same capacity.
They just
to,
mad at us
to
'cause we're better
have
at
the
it?
same injury.
Oh, okay. So do you think men are stronger than women?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
do you think men will hit harder than women?
Yeah.
Okay, so men will hit a woman harder than a woman will hit
Yeah,
a
but
man.
so what? If I were to get into a fight with a really weak guy who started shit, nobody would think twice if I smacked him in the
Yeah,
mouth.
but because that's an
because
anomaly.
his skull is less
No,
dense.
it's not an anomaly. Almost every time two men fight, one is significantly stronger than another.
Yeah, it's a generalization. Women
Yeah,
are
a generalization of what is standard. And so this
women
idea that
tend to get
because women happen
concussions
to
more
be
easily.
weaker than men,
There-
almost
it's-
all men
she's
are
right
weaker
here,
than
right
other
there.
men.
it's
But
no.
women do tend to get concussions more easily. So
Here,
even if you're
Austin, just right here. She's right here.
if you're
ahead.
watching like MMA, for example, if you watch the women's fights, even between women on women, they finish much quicker than they do with men because they have less dense skulls, and so they are more susceptible to concussions earlier on as well.
Well, let us assume for a moment. Let us assume that men were far more likely to get concussions than women, but were far stronger than women in every other regard, which they are right now. And if they hit them anywhere else, it did way more damage. Okay? Wouldn't you still make the recommendation that because there's a force differential that men didn't hit women? Even if women hit men? Wouldn't you still make the same recommendation? Even if men
Yes,
could
of
get...
course.
Yeah, of course. So the concussion thing doesn't matter. Ultimately,
just
it
was
doesn't
trying to
matter.
clarify what
If
she
we're
was
talking
saying.
about the moral imperative, right? If a woman strikes a man, then she gets hit back. That's the way it works. That's what you get. You know what that does is it teaches women not to hit men.
There's a really good Bill Burr bit on that, by the way.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think anybody should be hitting anybody. I think
that's
that
great.
There's usually a difference. Like,
I don't think anybody should get cancer, you know?
yeah. I mean, and
But
like,
they're going to. And so the thing is like, since they're going to, I want to have some kind of reasonable policy and some type of reasonable social policy around how you deal with the fact that, because it's going to happen. Women get really mad. They hit men for some reason socially unacceptable for men to hit them back. And the answer to this is, well, it's because they're weaker. And it's like, okay, but every time a man gets in a fight with another man, the other man is also weaker than him most of the time, right?
do
One
you
of them is weaker
think
than the other.
that there should be battered men's shelters?
Well, what is a battered woman sheltered exactly?
A woman who was in a domestic relationship, and she's in a shelter for safety.
Yeah, I mean, I would give those to men for different things.
For different why?
Yeah, like false essay claims. Right?
But why wouldn't you give it for physical
abuse?
abuse?
He's too
Why
rich.
wouldn't you
They
give it
should
for
hide his
physical abuse,
identity. What?
Why wouldn't you give it for physical abuse?
Well, I don't think it would be necessary to do so.
Why not?
Because generally speaking, I don't think most men would need that for physical damage.
Okay, so you think that women... Okay, so do you think that men are more physically than women?
No.
So then why... So do you think battered women's shelter should be a thing?
I mean, it's fine. You can have a battered women's shelter if you want, I guess, yeah.
But men do cause a lot more damage, is what she's trying to say.
So what?
I think. Well,
You can't get mad at men because they're better at it.
no one's mad. I think she's
No,
just
it's
saying
just...
that women...
Think about, like, sports. Like, you have different
thinking about
leagues for
sports.
different, like...
Yeah, unless somebody puts on a wig.
Well, it's a comparison. Like, you have different leagues for different strengths, just like how women and men have different strengths.
Well, then I guess lightweights who take on heavyweights should have a
No,
battered
but
men's
I think
shelter.
she's saying that-
Like, what do you want me to say?
when women are abused, physically abused, they are... it's a lot more detrimental to their physical well-being and health.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I would say that physically, right, they could take the short end of the stick because they're less strong, yes. But that does not mean it's more detrimental. That's
their
where I would
physical
have...
well-being?
No, hang on. I just conceded that point. Literally just conceded that point.
Wait.
I would say that doesn't mean that it's detrimental, though, over what's going on with the man.
Wait, Andrew, if I may point out, I do believe this is shifting the goalposts here, because I believe your original claim was, even in the instance where, let's assume that the damage caused by a woman onto a man and the damage caused by a man onto a woman, assuming the damage was totally equivalent, your position was still, even with equivalent damage done,
No, it wasn't.
that it's still worse for the woman.
No, I misspoke.
That was your position.
I misspoke then.
So this
but-
whole argument.
But I'm
over
willing.
who's
But I'm
capable-
willing to just concede it because I don't think it has any merit. Right.
That's not my position.
I'm going to assume this. In fact.
Let me just. Oh, wait.
One second. Hang on.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to
This is below
assume
the
this, in
threshold.
fact, that every single time there's a confrontation between a man and a woman, which is physical, that the man's going to overwhelmingly win and the woman's going to get her ass kicked.
Yeah.
Okay? No matter what. In every single circumstance. So what? You hit a man, that's what happens. What's the problem here?
Weren't we talking about SA? How did
And what
this
were we
all-
talking about before that?
Yeah, but I'd like an answer to
I don't. Okay.
I'd like an answer
I
to the
don't
question.
think that. Okay, I'm just saying. I think that like when there is a physical abuse situation, like if a woman ends up like punching her boyfriend, he is not necessarily going to need to like go to the hospital
what?
because he does. So it doesn't take a physical toll on him.
Yeah,
as
it takes a
much.
physical toll. You're just saying it takes a lesser one.
Yeah, it takes a
My
lesser
question
one.
to you is, what is actually wrong with? What is actually immoral about? What is actually problematic if a woman strikes a man for him to strike her back? What?
Honestly, I don't necessarily think there is
Right.
something wrong there.
Right. So then your whole point here makes no sense, because even if I concede the battered women's shelters, yes, they're going to lose
Well-
every single time they get into a fight with a man. You've just conceded that
But
if
it's
they
a different
strike a
thing.
man,
If you're
it's perfectly
striking him
acceptable.
first, then it's different from him striking you first.
Yeah, but you and I agree that nobody should be striking anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
But we understand that there are women who do strike men. And if they
Yeah.
do that, you don't have anything morally to say about the man hitting her back. Nothing.
So